Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to the channel. So it's finally the weekend, actually Friday, but end of the day, and I'm gonna put that tuner in. So I'll kind of show you how to do it. I mean, I haven't ever done it before, so you'll be kind of learning with me. So let's get to putting it in. Okay, so first you gotta run this cable through the firewall. I've already started it. Just slit a hole in the grommet, and then comes through up in here, right back behind this thing right here. You run that up in there, and then I'll get back to you when I get that done. Okay, got that through the firewall. Now you just want to kind of clean up the wires on this side, and then run the rest of the wires, which some of them connect in here, and then there's some on the fuel sensors, which is down there, and then we got to get the EGT probe in there on the exhaust side. Okay, so I'm mounting my module right here. That's where it says in the directions. At one point this truck must have had one of these because there's already Velcro strips here, but the tuner comes with some, so I'll put the one side on at least. Just take and stick that down right there. Okay, now we gotta run all of this wiring around in here. Also, before starting any wiring, you want to disconnect the battery cables, just the negatives. And then the first step is finding fuse 50 in the instructions, which is right here, it's a little 10 amp fuse. And you put this fuse in there with the wire on it. Okay, so you just pull this fuse out, and then you're supposed to put the side with the wire, so this side, on the hot side of the fuse. So that looks like it would be with the wire towards where the driver would be sitting. Next, you're supposed to disconnect all 3 injector wires and put the harness in between those. So those are right here, here, and then there's one way back here. And those just have a push, and then you have to pull it out. Just like that. Okay, so those are out now. So the front one is the injector 1, 2, middle is 3, 4, and rear is 5 and 6. So the 2 and 3 is the red and brown, which is this one, and it just goes right in between there, like this. Plugs right in. And the next one down from that is your 3, 4, which is orange and tan. And the last one is your 5 and 6, which is green and blue. So run that one down. I'll clean those wires up here when I get all of it ran. The next thing in the directions is to plug in between the map sensor, which is right here. And this connector goes to that, so you go in between there. That just plugs right in, and then plug it into the other side right here. Okay, that's in there. Now next is your fuel pressure sensor, which is the connector is right here. And you just go in between where that is again with the other wire. Alright, that's in there. Now next you want to find the data link connector. It's right down here. They say that sometimes it'll have a cover on it, but if you look right in front of the fuel filter, and it'll kind of be right in front of that, but mine doesn't have any cover on it, so it's just right down there. So I'll plug that in and then I'll get back to you. Okay, this red wire right here on the harness connects to that fused wire that you have in the fuse box, and the black wire connects to this ground right here, which is right next to the battery. Forgot to add that that is a 10mm for the ground. Okay, that's in. Power wire's in. Now all that's left is the UGT probe, which I'll probably run around here. And I'll show you on the other side once I get to that. Okay, so the next thing we're installing is the boost elbow, which I called the wrong thing in the unboxing video. So this is the boost elbow, and then it comes with a new hose clamp. So to do that, you have to remove the air box to get down to the hose that goes from the turbo to the wastegate. Okay, so take this out. You just disconnect your nice airflow, and it's I think an 8mm down at the turbo, and then this should come out of here, I think. So let me go grab an 8 real quick. Okay, never mind. It's 7. In the book it says 5/16, so it might be different. Kind of a bugger to get off. There we go. Okay, so the elbow you're replacing is this one right here, and it runs from this hose into the side of the turbo here. So this clamp, you mainly just have to pop it off with a screwdriver. So I'll do that. Okay, got that off. There's the hose right there. Now you just gotta take this elbow out. An 11mm wrench fits on there pretty good, but I'm gonna have to use this to break it loose first. Be very careful not to break that thing off. Okay, so the one on the right is the old one, and the one on the left is the new one. So you can see the orifice size is a lot smaller on the edge one. Okay, so that's about as tight as I want to get it. Now you want to put your new hose clamp on, and that is a quarter-inch socket, I'm guessing. And then you just put that right there. Okay, so now is for the hardest part of the install, in my opinion, and many others. And that's installing the EGT probe. So I'm gonna put mine right here. There is already one here, but I think at some point I might run both of them. So I'll run this one and the one that I'm putting right here. Maybe. So you have to drill a hole right in here. Don't drill where there's these lines running, but like right on that edge there. And that is a 5/16 drill bit. Directions are pretty good. Okay, so you want to start out with a 1/8 inch pilot hole, and then for the final size you want to do a 21/64 inch. Now be careful not to break the bit off in there, because that would be a bad day. Okay, now that you're through, I just clean up some of the metal around there. Some people use a vacuum as they're drilling through. Really, that's not going to do anything unless you take the turbo down, because some of them, like just the end of the metal pieces, will get into the turbo, but usually you won't have a problem with that. Okay, so now you want to put threads in the hole that you made, which is a 1/7/8 by 27 threaded tap, and I put grease on the tap to try and catch the metal flakes that come off as you're making threads in here. Okay, so you want to go in a little bit and back it off. Pretty slow process, but it's better than breaking your tap. Okay, so I got the tap all threaded in there. And you can see, let's put light on it, that the grease picked up all the metal to keep that out of your turbo. Okay, so next you want to put this bung in there, and that's the part that the probe slides into and screws down. And that's a 14mm socket. That would be. It seems pretty tight. Now this just goes in there. You thread this down. Okay, now I'm gonna run the wire for this along the firewall and over to the controller. Okay, so I got the wires for the EGT probe ran over here across the firewall, and then I got this one sucked up in here. And then put this one somewhere where it's easier to add more to it, because you can just daisy chain more things on here as you want to like look at different things, or if you want to run more probes or temperature sensors or anything like that. And then the connector for that plugs in to this one, and then the EGT probe plugs into here. Okay, so those are bolted together, and then you put heat shrink over top of those. And this is for the EGT probe wires. Okay, so now you want to run this wire, which is the wire for your screen. And I'm just going to run mine from down here up the side of this into the window. I'm going to have it right here for now on the windshield. At some point I'll get a pillar mount for it, and I'll put it right above this screen for my backup camera. So I'm going to run that wire, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, I got the wire ran up to where I want it. screen mounted for now, right there. Now you just tuck this up in here, and then this part connects to the OBD2 port, and then this, which comes from your module, connects to here. Okay, so I got all the wires tucked up and zip tied, and that is all installed. And I got the wire ran in here, the screen up there, and so that's install on the Edge CTS3 Juice with Attitude. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.